It's finally here, guys, and I could not be prouder. This thing looks absolutely fantastic. For all those people that pre-ordered one of these tables on the back of one picture that I put on social media, thank you very much, and thank you for your patience. This has taken a minute. There is a graveyard of tabletops that we are leaving in our wake, trying to perfect this design. But we've done it, and here it is. Let's take a little look at installation. It comes self-contained. There are no parts that you need that aren't already fitted on the table. I would, if I was using it on a hard surface like my tarmac drive, I would probably put the table on my footwear like this as a nice soft cushion. And all we're gonna do is release these two thumb nuts at the back. That's keeping everything lovely and well contained. Take the post out of the, you take the post out of itself. That's the only way I can explain it. These posts discreetly hide themselves within itself. They go like that. Undo the thumb nuts just a tiny bit more. That will release this back section. This will allow our table to go over our arch. Use your hip motion like this. We're gonna sit it on our tire, screw up the thumb nut from below. That will hold itself. That will hold itself, but is not going to necessarily be weight bearing at this stage. To improve the stability, it has a drop down leg. There is a thumb nut with a telescopic leg, and the table is totally installed. This leg is not only on a hinge, but it's telescopic. So no matter what angle you are parked at, even if the van was at 45 degrees, you could create a flat surface. Even if the ground was lower here, because this is telescopic, that will reach pretty much any distance, unless you're on a cliff edge, to the floor. If the floor was to be too soft to rely on, simply hinge it back into the wheel, create that triangulation, and that is going to be a lovely, stable, beautiful camping table. Frequently asked questions. What will happen with the sliding door on a mid-wheelbase Crafter, Sprinter or Transporter? Can I still use a tyre table? Unfortunately, the answer is no, unless you have a front wheel. Ta-da! Other FAQs. How strong is the tyre table? Can I put my dog on it? He is. Sit. And the most popular frequently asked question on the UAO tyre table up to now is, will it hold the weight of a ginger bearded YouTuber? Yes, yes it will. I do not advise that you try this at home. And definitely don't try this. It is handmade here in the UK. It has a laser cut top. You have the option of adding those cargo rail ring thingies to them, and I'll show you why you might want to do that shortly. There are cheaper options out there. There is a product that is almost half the price. All I can say is half the price, half the product. I will show you that product shortly. I could have made this table a lot cheaper, but the end result wasn't what I wanted it to be. We could have made it out of steel and it would have been a slight bit cheaper, but the man hours involved in creating something like this, no matter what the material, that cannot be taken away. There are the same amount of bends, the same amount of welds, the same amount of effort, labor and love put into this, no matter what material I make it out of. I was not trying to compete with some of the other inferior tyre tables out there. That wasn't my ambition. I wanted to make something as nice as I possibly could and share it with you guys. I have been an honorary user of the tyre table for years. I've made 2 videos on a previous version of a tyre table. Those videos are not very good. So I will show you the cheaper option and you decide whether or not you are getting value for money between one and another. At the end of the day, both versions are a flat surface that you fit over your wheel. I suppose the only thing you need to decide is, are you going to make use of this and are you going to love this the same way that I do? It is not by luck that this is the perfect size for a twin burner stove. Yes, I've got the added mod con of an outside gas point. It wouldn't stop you just putting a gas bottle down low or bringing this cooker forward and popping the gas bottle directly behind it. But look at that. There is enough space to cook on both rings and a lovely prep area here for putting your butties together. And because a watched kettle never boils, let's take a look at the only competition that the UAO tyre table will come up against, and I'll leave you to decide which one you are getting greater value for money on. This is the tyre table from Tailgater. Half the price, half the product. But I don't look to smack talk this product. I absolutely love this product. It's this product that has been the inspiration for my very own product. This has inspired me. I've used this for the last 4 years, and even though it's made of steel, and even though it's mass produced, and even though no love was put into building one of these, it has served every single purpose almost that I wanted it to. The Tailgater tyre table has always been one of the first pieces of equipment I get out when I set up at camp. The kettle's boiled. I genuinely am the Tailgater tyre table's biggest fan. I do genuinely love it. It just could be, and is now, so much better. Some people may say, yes, this will suit me fine. I don't want it to be as gorgeous as that. I don't need it to be as pretty as that one. This will give me a flat surface for me to make brews and cook on the outside of my van while I'm camping. And I do get that. People do perceive value for money in totally different ways, and I totally appreciate that. I have been totally happy, once again, the Tailgater's biggest fan up until now. I would still recommend, if you do not see the value in the UAO table, I would still recommend you buy one of these. You will be happy with one of these. From 5 feet away, it looks exactly the same as the day I bought it. There's a couple of chips here, but that's going to happen. This is an outdoor product. You will scuff this eventually, and it may break your heart, but that's the point of it. It is powder coated. It will take a few scuffs. It's going to get used. This is something that you're bolting onto the outside of your van. Use it as a chopping board. Do as you wish. Don't rub it across the tarmac drive, because that's just sacrilege. This is a robust product with no moving parts. It hasn't got anything that needs any kind of maintenance. It's a pole that goes inside another pole. The only mechanical moving part on the UAO tyre table is this thumb nut. There's 3 of them. There's one this side, there's one that side, and there's one on the telescopic leg just there. They are designed to turn at the end of the day. And if you did lose one of these, and I can't see why you should, because you use this to tighten up and close the table down. If you lost one of these, reach out, I'll send you another one. So picture this, you're on a lad's weekend and you're camping in your camper van and you decide to bake a cake. You then have a whisk that's covered in batter mix. Now, instead of contaminating your whole campsite, which is the kind of thing I would do, and batter mix ends up absolutely everywhere, the slots in the table will accommodate your utensils. And that sounds really petty, and you're gonna think I'm nuts for saying that, but this kind of thing is how you use the table. You can take your utensils and put them through these slots. So you're making a chili con carne, your spoon's absolutely covered in chili, you've put the lid back on the pot. What do you do with this instead of spreading it absolutely everywhere? You pop it down through there and you're not gonna get everything covered in chili. I've learned this firsthand. I have learned this. Simple things. So these little figure of 8s that I call them are ready to take these cargo rings. Now you can do with these whatever you wish, whether or not you want to hang utensils that have got holes in the end, or you want to put a bungee cord across there and hang a kitchen roll, anything like that. If you want to tie the dog to it, you do with these what you will. So they simply spring loaded, they push in that slot like that, you push them along, and that is then fixed. Now you could use this top side, or you can in fact use it down below. So you've had your big cook up, you've baked cakes for all of your friends around the campfire, and now you have all this washing up to do, and your sink inside your van is about the size of an IKEA salad bowl. Check this out. So once again, I do benefit from an outside water point. This is actually a Bullfinch shower. Will give me hot and cold water. Once you're done, simply do your washing up, even if that was with a big bucket of hot water that you created from inside, but you can do your washing up. Everything's lovely. Turn your pots over and walk away. You have yourself an outside draining board. Transformative. How much does the UAO table weigh? Believe me, I have been there. 7 kilos. Now, it is a bit of a myth that aluminium weighs so much less than steel. Well, that in fact is not a myth. What is sometimes a bit misconstrued is the fact that you need to use thicker gauge aluminium to create the same strength than if you were using steel, if that makes any kind of sense. And as you've just seen, my table is quite strong enough. Where am I going to store the UAO table? And that is a very valid question, because every inch in the camper van world is valuable. Far too many innuendos in this video. So the table does close down what I believe is quite discreetly. You can't have a table and not have a table. You can't have your cake and eat it. If you want a table, you have to somehow carry a table with you. I believe storing the table is not as much of an issue as you may believe. This is in fact 2 tables on top of each other. If you have a footprint large enough for the table itself, you are only actually losing about 60 mil, because once that is in that position, you can go ahead and load on top of that. So you've only actually, Tetris comes to mind, you've lost that much of a square of the space. Or in fact, make use of these, stand the table up and strap them vertically. But if you truly do not have a 70 mil sliver available that you can then even load stuff on top on, do not fear, because external mounting solutions are on the way. I'm working with a very well-known someone on ways that we are going to mount these to roof racks and wheel carriers. So do not fear, there are more solutions inbound. Genuine amount of research and development has gone into this thing. Archimedes once said, if the arc on a tire table isn't perfected correctly, you will limit the amount of vans that it fits on. This slight arc at the back is more important than you would ever believe. If this was flat, this would limit the amount of vans that it could fit on based on the arch gap. As this goes into the van, that is shaped similarly enough to replicate the tire. But if it was the perfect size and shape of a tire, it wouldn't hold on to the back of the tire. This is all concerns that you don't need to worry about. I've already done it. It's here, it's ready. Hit the link below. Don't miss out on the discounted price of 325. I don't know what the price has to be after that, because in truth, I haven't really taken into consideration all of the hardware that you guys don't see, by the way, but the screws, the fasteners, the thumb nuts that are £4.50 each, I believe, things like that. 325 is an introductory offer to get some out there, get people using them, get people talking about them. I will be at MVT this year. You can see some for yourself, and if you want to, you can pick one up there and even save on the postage, because postage alone in this country is a sickening amount of money. The cardboard box that these things come in cost me about £4.50 each. Transform your own camping experience.